Well, heidi-ho everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Dan's Pro Shop. Today, we're talking RV stuff. If you guys have followed me in the past, you know that I kind of bounce around with that stuff. So today, we're doing a little upgrade to the camper, and we are going to install a digital RV door lock with a key fob. Yeah, I know. Whenever you go out on the town and you're camping, you're hanging out with the friends and family and doing whatever, the last thing you want to worry about is losing your keys. So with this little puppy, you don't have to worry about it anymore. So if you're interested in seeing how this goes on, stick around. Let's do it together. So guys, what we got here today is the digital RV door lock by ONNAIS. ONNAIS? Either way, this is good stuff. And these guys are actually known for making gun locks and gun safes. So if you can trust your firearm to these people, I'm thinking that an RV door lock should be nothing. This particular one is a W007. So in case you're wondering if this thing is good, it's good enough for 007. Awesome. There are many variations of digital electronic door locks for RVs out there, but this comes from a trusted name brand that makes locking devices in the past, and they have made ones of these before. This is just the newest iteration, and they've done some solid upgrades that we're going to go over. So when we get this thing open here, we've got our nice instruction booklet, as to be expected. There's even a QR code for a quick start guide. Awesome. It's nice dunnage here. And the lock herself. This thing, if I had to guess, cast aluminum. There's no way this thing's billet because you absolutely wouldn't be able to afford it. This is the inside part here. We have the release latch, the manual deadbolt handle, battery compartment with some controls here, and this is one of the add-ons that they included since the previous installment of this model, is this handle right here. This is the interior door handle pull, because before it used to only have this handle to pull it closed from the inside. Well, if you guys see how this works here, this handle unlatches your door. So if you go to pull it closed with this latch, it can be cumbersome and kind of really doesn't work all that great. So they added another sturdy aluminum handle here so you can actually pull your door closed from the inside and not affect the latch at all. But if you look at the outside here, we have a nice rubberized touch keypad. Everything is IP rated for weather resistance. There is another little lock here for the exterior latch. I really don't know what the point of this is because it's not keyed. It doesn't do anything really. So I mean, it's there, okay, but I don't get it. I really feel like that was a waste. And then here we have the key to bypass this thing. Just in case the battery dies or whatever, if you need to manually get into this thing, you can still open your deadbolt with a key. It's nice to have that extra on top of all this digital stuff. So we'll dig further into the kit here. We got a little box with some goodies. Oh my. A little T-handle Allen wrench, a wee little baby screwdriver, something that looks like a guitar pick. I'm guessing this is to help us get batteries and compartments open and stuff. A little maybe piece of 2-stick tape, I don't know. And then we have some door latches. So just in case you need to upgrade the ones that are currently on your camper door, it comes with some more. There's a couple other boxes in here. Here's our key fobs. Check this thing out. It's about the same size as the one that you would have for a vehicle. So, I mean, it's not huge, it's not totally cumbersome, but like you wouldn't mind throwing this in your pocket. And just like multiple car ones nowadays, there's a release here that opens for your key, so you can open that deadbolt manually. Clips back together, hang that on your keys, throw it in your pocket, whatever you need. We have another box over here. Look at that, we got a second key fob. Nice. Maybe you can hide one at your campsite somewhere, put it in one of those magnet thingies underneath it, whatever you need. It's just nice that we have two. Well guys, that about does it for unboxing. It's about as exciting as it could be. So the only thing we have left to do is get out to the RV and yank out the factory one. I've looked at this before because I've thought about doing this particular upgrade. There's literally nothing to it. There's like 4 screws on the inside of the factory one. I'm sure that Lippert makes it like every other freaking thing on an RV. But chances are you probably have the exact same door latch on your camper as long as it's still the original factory one. Pops right out, throw this one in, and then kind of have to take a look at the book and see how this thing works so we can program our numbers into it. But either way, from the looks of things here, they supply you with the basic hardware and tools to make this thing work. The only thing we're going to need is a number 2 Phillips to rip out the factory one. So, grab you a drill, let's go out to the camper. So here we are out at the old home away from home, and you guys can see here, the super factory one. It has the 2 locks, one for the handle, one for the deadbolt. So this lock for the handle is, I don't know if that's what they were trying to accomplish with that knob thing on the latch. Either way, like I said, since it doesn't actually lock, I don't get the point, but it's there, whatever. And not to mention an upgrade for this. If you guys are familiar with these style locks, the keys that come with these things, it's a global link, or I don't even know. These things are kind of standardized like a master lock or like a quick set deadbolt for your house. Like there's only so many variations of these things. So let's just say like 1 in 500 are the same or something. Okay, so there's a chance, a solid chance, that whenever you go to a crowded campground, somebody else has the same key as you do. So yeah, I mean, a slim chance, yes, and I'd like to think that you can trust your neighbors, but either way, I know there is somebody else out there that has the exact same key as me and can currently get into my trailer. Not very happy about it. That's why we're upgrading. So here we are on the inside of the door. If you guys have a screen door, go ahead and unlatch it, get it the heck out of your way. But you can see here, there's just 4 number 2 Phillips head screws. We'll go ahead and undo these and get this thing out of the way. Look at that, the back comes right off, nothing to it. And by the way, there are 2 screws here on the side for the latch. We need to release those. And this takes off the factory strike plate on the door. Once we have those 6 screws removed on our factory handle here, just yank it out. That's all there is to it. Now, we can go get our fancy new one and install. So guys, when we take this thing out of the box, to separate the 2 halves couldn't be easier. There's a plug in the center, you're going to need to undo that. I don't know if they're always connected or just mine was. But there are 4 Allen head cap screws that hold this thing together, and that's what this fancy little T-handle does. So once you get them separated, it's super obvious which side's in and which side's out. Now, we're going to take the outside and jam it in. You're going to need to fish this a little bit so the lock mechanism actually goes through the frame of the door, and then we can line everything up. So this thing should fit just fine in the factory hole, but who knows? Anything aftermarket, you always got to play with it. I think, oh look at that, like a glove. A little bit of pushing, no big deal. You guys can see here, this thing lines up, and then there are strike plates that came with that kit that we can choose to replace this, or you can go ahead and put the original one back on. Either way, it's up to you. But now we can attach the inside stuff. Now, like I said, you guys do whatever you'd like, but I'm going to use the factory one that was on here simply because I know it fits and the holes line up. So on my particular one, the wider spot goes towards the door gasket. Then we'll start and try to line these holes up as best we can. I'm not going to tighten anything yet. We're just going to get everything started until we get all the screws in, and then we can tighten it down. Now once we have our strike plate on the door frame attached, now we can do the inside, and we're going to need to do a little trimming. Looks like this was a Friday at 5 o'clock door. Somebody didn't bother trimming out the rest of this interior panel here, so we're going to have to do that. So guys, if you do have to do some trimming, just pay mind to your wiring. Make sure that you don't get anything in the way, and be delicate, if you will, with your trimming. You don't want to go too much, because in the event you overcut this, you may end up seeing your cut. Either way, just if you're doing this, take the time to do it right. do it just enough to expose the sockets here where the hardware goes in. Like that guy right there. We're gonna have to do a little zhuzhing to get that top one. Nice, that should be just fine. You guys can see here, this is just plastic. I'm using a pair of tin snips. You do whatever you like. So here's a better view, just what I was looking at, so you don't gotta look through my head. But we just have to make sure that these 4 screw locations are exposed on the inside so we can actually bolt everything together. The next step is don't forget to plug these 2 together before we screw this thing together. We'll go ahead and delicately snap this thing together. It only goes one way. Can't mess it up. Get that nice little satisfying click, and you guys see here, there's even a little cavity for the plug to go into, so everything fits in here real nice and tidy. Now, line everything up as best you can by eye, and go ahead and start these hex head screws. Send them home. Also keep in mind while you're doing this, we need to index this pin here with the interior door handle. So you might have to struggle with this a little bit, but I promise it'll go together. Well, thanks to movie magic, you guys didn't have to watch me struggle with this and drop these screws 1,000 times. It may greatly improve this process if you have a buddy come help you out and hold everything while you're putting the hardware in. We're gonna go ahead and snug all these things up, check and see what the outside looks like, get everything nice and straight, and then we'll come back and crank these down. So there's really no rhyme or reason or science to this. I'm just kind of going off of this gap here between the edge of the latch and the door frame here, making sure it's about as level as I can possibly get it, allowing with the hole that's in there. I mean, you can only move it so much, so get it as good as you can. Once you're satisfied, now we can go back and tighten everything down for good. Now I recommend tightening this thing down just like you would with a tire. Go opposite corners. I have absolutely no idea if there's a torque spec for this thing, but those bolts are only threaded so far, and eventually they will bottom out and stop. So we are gonna call that good. Now, don't forget about your strike plate. Let's come back here and tighten this thing down. Cool, let's do a test fit just for giggles. Go ahead and latch our screen door. Look at that, nothing interferes. It fits right into the factory hole. Look at that. Man, we didn't even have to adjust the strike plate on the door frame. It already just works. I don't know about you guys, but I'm already pretty happy about this. I think the next step, we got to look at the book and figure out how to program and probably put batteries in it. And I don't know. We'll get there, I promise. So according to Emmanuel here, that's dad joke. I'm sorry, I can't quit it. Either way, it says whenever you put that wiring harness together and once the connectors are fitted, you should hear a beep, letting you know that everything's good. And it says if you don't hear a beep, please check your connection. Or there ain't no batteries in it. I don't know if it's supposed to come with batteries or I'm just an unlucky schmuck that it didn't come with. Either way, it takes 4 AA's. At least it's a AA. I mean, it's a common. It's not like some weird watch battery or something that you can't get anywhere except Radio Shack. Radio Shack. But let's grab some batteries, toss it in, and start programming this thing, huh? So inside of here is pretty self-explanatory. This is your battery compartment, and you use this cute little eyeglasses screwdriver they supply you in the kit. Take this thing off, and you can see the slot here for 4 AA batteries. And since they're alternating, that tells us that this thing is wired in series. Fun fact. So we're operating on 6-ish volts. Look at that. Put the batteries in, we got a beep. It must be connected right. Go ahead, reinstall the battery door here and get to programming. So looking back here at Emmanuel, it says once we check the door for smooth operation and you adjust your strike plate as needed, but luckily we don't have to. This thing closes good and tight up against the weather seal. I mean, I don't know, maybe we could go in a little bit more, but honestly that feels exactly like it used to. So let's leave this thing open in case something backfires on us that we're not locked out of our trailer. It says press the ONNAIS button once to activate the deadbolt. Oh man. That's fast and quiet. I don't know if you guys heard that. But then it says to unlock, your initial passcode is 12345. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hit the check mark. Goes right back in. Here, I'll show you guys what this thing looks like so you can see what to expect. Here, I'll hold the microphone up close to this thing so you guys can actually hear what's going on. You hit the button once to lock, and then you enter your code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, press the check mark. Man, fast and quiet. I love it. So let's pretend that I'm a 5-year-old kid and I'm too excited about anything else to care about Dad's camper. Yep, it's closed. Good, I like it. All right, we're going up to the barbecue pit. Everybody got their stuff? Awesome. We're set. You can open that thing until the cows come home, but your deadbolt is locked. Your door latch doesn't mean anything. And then we have this weird handle lock for no reason at all. Anyway, we are now back from the fire pit, or we need some more cervezas to keep the evening going, but it's inside. How do we do that? I don't have any keys on me. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check mark. She's open. We're in. The party's on. So since we're here just testing stuff, let's go ahead and take our key fob, and I want to make sure that this manual key works. So if those 4 AA's crap out on me, or I leave them in there for 3 years and totally forget about it, because that's never happened before, we'll go ahead and install this thing. Look at that. Works great. It's got a neutral return, about 90 degrees or so for either function. You can feel it just kind of like bypasses the servo, but yeah, it works great. And then we got this nice little beauty rubber cover that covers that. So as far as I'm concerned, everything there works. We just need to make this thing work. So guys, to program this thing to your own code and to set the key fob, couldn't be any easier. Just follow the steps in the instruction booklet that come in the kit. You put in the factory code that it comes with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check mark. That activates everything. Then you hit the set button, you put in your own code, you do that a couple times, you hit the go button, you hear it beep, it lights up, yada yada. Now it's your own code. You can put any digit, anything that you want in between 5 and 10 digits long. And in order to do the key fob, it's very similar. You put in the code, you hit the set button 3 times, you hit a button, yada yada, and you do that for both of the key fobs so you can have them programmed. Once you get your own stuff in there, then it's all yours. I mean, naturally, I'm not gonna show you mine, silly goose, but the one that comes with this thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's awesome, you can't forget about it, but that's how you set your own stuff. All right, babe, we're going down to the fire pit. I'll meet you there. Just let me lock up, huh? Dude, I can't tell you guys how freaking cool this thing is. A simple click of a button. We're locked, we're safe, everything's good to go. Now we're back from the party, or, we need to reload, hit the button. Unlocked, we get a little beep to tell us it's unlocked, and we're in. And one of the coolest things about this, I mean, yeah, the key fob is cool. It's a nice little addition. But I like the fact that I don't have to have anything with me, period. Whether we're out riding dirt bikes, or we're hiking, or going swimming, or whatever, maybe you had one too many wobble pops and you don't want to worry about losing your keys. Now we don't have that concern like we did before. We simply just shut the door, hit the button, the deadbolt is locked, our stuff is safe, and we're good to go. Be gone all day, do whatever you need. You come home, put in your code, hit the go button, she's unlocked, now you're home again. Dude, I didn't know that I needed this thing until I know that I need it. This thing is super cool. Let me take you inside so you guys can get a better, just so you can see how it works inside, and I can demonstrate that handle that they added and why it's so important. So here we are inside. You guys can tell that I've already added one of these aluminum bars to the screen door because I just think it's great. However, these things are weak and you can't really close. I mean, you can if you slam it like that, but I'm not really a fan of beating the crap out of your already cruddy RV. So this handle here is how we close this thing like a respectable human being. Their previous iteration of this lock did not have this handle here. It only had this handle. So in order to close this thing and pull it like the latch wasn't, it kind of became fumbly. But now that they added this thing, so it's more like the original, I just think this works great and it's a really good add-on. So guys, one more thing as far as function is concerned. You guys see this here lock, unlock switch on the back of this thing? This makes it so you can either use or not use the key fob. Let's say that you gave this thing to a buddy of yours years ago or whatever, you had a falling out, but now he has a key to your trailer. You can turn this thing off, or let's just say you're in here for the night and you want to be left alone. So I want to lock this thing so nobody can get in using this. They have to have my set passcode to open this thing from the outside. So as cool as that is in theory, I like that idea. I mean, let's just test it out. So this is locked now. So now my key fob doesn't work. I unlock it. Now my key fob works. So that's cool. I like the idea. However, maybe we overlooked a giant thing here, that if you have the key fob, you have the key. So I can still open it from outside anyway. Hey man, I'm not a rocket scientist, but take that for what you will. At least it's a function. Moral of the story, guys, I'm stoked about this. I think it is super cool that we have the ability to do this, and now I no longer need keys. Whenever you're out in the elements doing all this stuff, you lose stuff, you break stuff all the time. This is the last thing you want to have to worry about, is gaining entry to your trailer. So this is just one little thing that you can take off your plate that can greatly increase the serenity of your trip. So now that we're all installed and everything's all done, what do I think? I think it's freaking awesome. Now naturally you don't need this. The factory one does work, but like so many aftermarket things, do we need it? Do we need hooker headers? Do we need Hoosier drag slicks? No, but we want it and it's cool. And this is just that thing for our camper door. It fits in the factory location. I didn't have to do any exterior trimming, but I did have to do a little snipping on the inside. And that's not to the fault of these guys. That was the crappy construction of the camper and whoever put that thing together. But if you guys have one of these things, you know that's just the way it is. The only thing you need is the Phillips head screwdriver to take the factory one out, and everything else is supplied in the kit. Like I said, I don't know if they're supposed to come with batteries and I just got skunked and it didn't. But either way, it's just a couple AA's and everything works fine. Not to mention that we have that key that comes out of the key fob, so we can still use it in the event that we lose that battery power. So all in all, I think this thing is an awesome upgrade, and if you're interested in doing this for yourself, please check out the link in the description to get one of these things, all the stuff that's involved. I mean, there's really not much involved, but at very least, I will link this thing so you can get one for your camper. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, those door locks are pretty well universal. I think there's only like 1 or 2 different styles that like come on pretty much every RV, unless you have one of those newer fancy ones that have the glass door. Either way, this is pretty well universal, and I'm sure that this thing will fit probably 90% of trailers out there. So if you guys are interested in this particular upgrade for your camper, please check out the link in the description and you can do it for yourself. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.